So you're creating all this content, right? You're running ads, you're sending out emails. But let's be honest, do you really know which of those things are actually bringing people to your website? If you're not 100% sure, well, you're about to find out exactly how to track every single click. For so many of us, this is just the reality. We pour all this time and energy into different channels, but then we look at our analytics and it just feels like a big, confusing mess. It's kind of like trying to navigate a new city without a map. So, let me ask you this straight up. Can you confidently point to a specific LinkedIn post or a specific Google ad, or even that one link in your newsletter and say, yep, that one's driving my most valuable traffic? If you had to pause and think about it, don't worry, you are not alone. This is probably one of the biggest frustrations in digital marketing today. But what if you could attach a little digital name tag to every single person who visits your site? Well, that's pretty much what UTM parameters do. They're the simple but really powerful solution that basically flips on the lights and gives you that perfect clarity you've been looking for. So how does it work? A UTM, and that stands for Urchin Tracking Module, by the way, is just a little snippet of text that gets tacked onto the end of your URL. Now, it doesn't change the page the user sees at all, but behind the scenes, it's carrying all this crucial information back to your analytics platform, like Google Analytics, and it tells you the exact story of how that click happened. Okay, to really get this, we need to break down what one of these things looks like. I want you to think of it like a sentence. It's got 5 key parts, and when you put them all together, they tell the complete story of a user's journey to your website. So let's take a look at each piece. All right, there are 5 parameters here, but the logic is actually super simple. You really only need to worry about the first 3 to get started. UTM source tells you where the click came from, like from Google or LinkedIn. UTM medium tells you how it got there. Was it a paid ad, which we call CPC for cost per click, or was it just a regular social post? And UTM campaign is the why, the specific promotion you're running, like your summer sale 2024. The other 2, term and content, they're optional, but man, they add some really powerful layers of detail. Okay, theory is great, but let's make this real. We're going to build one of these tracked URLs together, right now, step by step. And trust me, it is so much easier than it looks. The whole process is pretty simple. First, you just start with your normal link to the page. Then, the tracking code always starts with a question mark. See that? So after the question mark, you add your first parameter, UTM source equals LinkedIn. Now, for every other parameter you add, you just separate them with an ampersand. So next, we add and UTM medium equals social, and then and UTM campaign equals summer sale 2024. And that's it. You've just made a perfectly trackable link for your big summer sale campaign on LinkedIn. Okay, that's awesome. But what if you're running the same exact campaign, say on LinkedIn, but you want to test 2 different ads to see which one works better? Maybe one ad has this big, beautiful image, and the other is just a simple text link. How in the world do you tell them apart in your data? This is where that optional UTM_content parameter becomes your secret weapon for A/B testing. It's so cool. For your image ad, you just add and UTM_content equals image banner to the end of that long URL we made. And for the text link ad, you add and UTM_content equals text link, just like that. Now, when you look in your analytics, you can see with total clarity which ad creative is actually getting you more clicks and more conversions. Now, look, you could type all of this out by hand, but it is so easy to make a tiny little mistake. You forget an ampersand, you have a typo. To avoid all that headache, just use Google's free campaign URL builder. You just fill in the boxes for source, medium, and campaign, and poof, it generates a perfect error-free URL for you. Seriously, it's a lifesaver. So, we've talked about the what and the how, but now let's get to the most important part, the why. Why should you even bother with all this? Because let me tell you, the payoff is huge. When you use UTMs, you get truly precise measurement. You can finally actually calculate the return on investment for every single link you put out there. And that means you can optimize smarter. You can stop wasting your budget on what isn't working and double down on the channels that really are. You'll even get to understand your audience better by seeing how people from different sources act once they get to your site. All right, before you get all excited and run off to start tagging every link you own, let's just cover a few really essential pro tips. Following these is going to help you keep your data clean, consistent, and actually useful. Okay, listen up, because this is absolutely critical if you want reliable data. First, be consistent. Decide on a naming system for your campaigns and stick to it. Second, always use lowercase. Always. Because as you can see here, Your analytics will treat Facebook with the capital F and Facebook with a lowercase f as two completely different sources. It'll mess everything up. And finally, never use spaces. Always use underscores or dashes instead. I know it sounds nitpicky, but believe me, this discipline will save you so much trouble down the line.
So there you have it. You now have the key. You're no longer marketing in the dark. So the only question left is this. Once you start tracking everything with this kind of precision, what surprising insights, what hidden truths are you going to discover in your own data? Go find out.